Watch me turn a flat silicone mat into a stunning glow-in-the-dark lamp. Welcome to Happy Place Creations by Connie. Today I'm going to show you how to make this absolutely stunning glow-in-the-dark resin lamp. And the best part? It starts with just a flat silicone mat. This technique is so clever and surprisingly simple. I'm going to pour glow-in-the-dark resin onto a brand new silicone mat, let it cure, peel it off, and then roll it up around a light base to create this beautiful cylindrical lamp. The honeycomb pattern you see comes from the texture of the silicone mat, and I'm adding some gorgeous sparkly embellishments to make it even more special. This lamp glows in the dark, creates beautiful ambient lighting, and makes an amazing gift or home decor piece. Plus, you can customize it with any color resin or embellishments you want. So, if you've been wanting to make custom resin lamps, stick around, because I'm going to show you every step of the process from start to finish. Let's get started and make some magic. Let's start with the foundation of this project. A brand new silicone honeycomb pattern mat. I'm unpackaging this mat, and you can see it has this beautiful raised circular pattern all over it. These little bumps are what's going to create that gorgeous honeycomb texture on our finished lamp. This is a flexible, food-grade silicone mat. It's anti-slip, thickened and sturdy, and made of soft material. Perfect for resin work because the resin won't stick to it permanently. The key here is using a brand new mat. You want a clean surface with no dust or debris because anything on this mat will transfer to your resin. I'm laying it out flat on my work surface, making sure it's completely smooth with no wrinkles or folds. The pattern side is facing up. This is the side that will create the texture on our lamp. Alright, the mat is ready. Now let's prepare our resin. Now let's mix up our glow-in-the-dark resin colors. I'm using Let's Resin epoxy for this project, and I have 4 beautiful glow-in-the-dark colors from Let's Resin: yellow, blue, this gorgeous reddish, orange, and green. Now here's an important technique for working with these glow-in-the-dark pigments. These pigments are like a textured mica powder, and they're very heavy, so they sink to the bottom of the cup if you're not careful. So I start by putting just a little bit of resin in each cup with the colors first. Not the full amount, just a small amount to start. I'm mixing this first small amount thoroughly, making sure the glow powder is completely absorbed into the resin. This creates a concentrated color base. Now I'm moving from color to color, yellow, blue, reddish, orange, green, mixing each one thoroughly so the pigments can absorb into the resin properly. You want to make sure there are no clumps and the color is evenly distributed. This technique prevents the heavy glow powder from sinking to the bottom and ensures you get a nice, even color throughout. After I've mixed the initial small amount in each cup and the pigments are fully absorbed, then I top them up with the remaining amount of resin I mixed up. Now I'm mixing again to combine everything evenly. Look at these gorgeous, vibrant colors. The yellow is so bright, the blue is stunning, that reddish orange is beautiful, and the green is perfect. And all of these will glow in the dark. My resin colors are ready. Now it's time to pour them onto the silicone mat and create our lamp. Now before we add our colors, you want to make sure to spray your mat with some isopropyl alcohol. I use the 99% because I feel it's the best. There are an awful lot of little curves and corners in this honeycomb pattern, and we don't want to have a lot of bubbles in our project. So you want to make sure that you spray that mat with the alcohol before you pour your resin. This helps the resin flow smoothly and prevents air bubbles from getting trapped in all those little bumps. And you want to give your colors a nice stir before you pour them on the mat. Just a quick stir to make sure everything is still mixed evenly. Now here I am off to the side of the screen, and I'm really sorry I'm not in the view very well, but I decided to change my approach midstream. Instead of dumping each color separately on the mat, I decided to use a split cup where I can dump all 4 colors at once. So here I am filling up my split cup with all 4 colors: yellow, blue, reddish orange, and green. You'll see that very shortly on the screen. This split cup technique creates a beautiful blended effect where the colors flow together. Now I'm pouring the split cup onto the mat, and look at those gorgeous colors flowing out together. The yellow, blue, orange, and green are creating this beautiful marbled effect. I've decided to use a wide scraper to make sure that my resin is getting down into all those little honeycomb areas. I'm spreading it across the entire mat, working it into all the curves and bumps. You want to make sure every part of that textured surface is covered with resin. And thank the Lord for my wide tray underneath, because it's catching all the overage of my resin as it flows off the sides of the mat. Now here's a great tip. What you can do with that extra resin that's falling over the sides of the mat is you can put that into jewelry molds, you could put it into coaster molds, you could put it into any other mold that you would like to, and those pieces would glow in the dark as well. Don't waste that beautiful glow-in-the-dark resin. Save it for other projects. I'm continuing to spread the resin with my wide scraper, making sure it's getting into every little honeycomb bump and creating an even layer across the entire mat. Perfect! The resin is spread evenly, it's in all the textured areas, and we're ready for the next step. Now that I feel that all the resin is down in the mat appropriately and it's worked into all those honeycomb bumps, I've decided to use a large tongue depressor to scrape along the top and get rid of the excess resin. I'm running this tongue depressor across the surface, scraping off any extra resin that's sitting on top of the mat. This gives me a nice, smooth, even layer and ensures the resin is only in the textured areas, not pooling on top. You can see how much excess resin comes off, and that's perfectly fine. We're going to save all of this. Now I'm using my small scraper to pick up all the extra resin that's on my tray. Look at all this beautiful glow-in-the-dark resin we collected. This is way too pretty to waste. I'm putting all this overflow resin back into my split cup, and I will put that into some jewelry molds. And then I will have some glow-in-the-dark jewelry to match my lamp. This is one of my favorite things about resin work. Nothing goes to waste. That overflow becomes earrings, pendants, keychains, whatever you want, and it will all glow in the dark just like the lamp. Alright, the mat is scraped smooth, the overflow is collected, and now we're ready to let this cure. And now it's time to peel it back off the mat. Now you want to take this very slowly so that you don't rip your project, because it's going to be very thin. I'm starting at one corner and gently lifting the edge. You can see how the resin is releasing from the silicone mat. This is why silicone is perfect for this technique. Oh, I am very sorry. I bumped the camera. And now you can see my very messy workstation where I make my videos. I apologize for this, but creativity is messy. This is the real behind the scenes of crafting. It's not always perfectly organized, and that's okay. Alright, back to peeling. I'm working my way across the mat slowly and carefully. You don't want to rush this step. If you pull too fast or too hard, you could tear the thin resin sheet. Look at this. You can see the beautiful honeycomb texture that the mat created. All those little circular bumps transferred perfectly to the resin. This is going to look amazing when it's rolled into a lamp. I'm continuing to peel slowly, supporting the resin sheet as I go. It's thin and flexible, which is exactly what we want for rolling it around the light base. And there we go, it's completely off the mat. Now I take my little hot air gun and I heat up the resin to make it flexible so I can form it into a circle. Watch what happens as I apply the heat. Oh, as you see in the film, as you heat it up, it just lays right down flat. The heat makes the resin soft and pliable, almost like it's melting back down. But I pick it back up while it's still warm and flexible, and I grab my light base that I'm going to be using. Now I'm forming the resin around the base, wrapping it around the cylinder so that it will form into the circular shape that we need for our light base. The heat makes the resin flexible enough to bend and curve without cracking or breaking. You can see how easily it's conforming to the shape of the light base. I'm working quickly while the resin is still warm and pliable, making sure it's wrapped evenly around the base and the edges are meeting up nicely. This is such a clever technique. The heat gun gives you that flexibility to shape the resin exactly how you need it. Without the heat, the resin would be too stiff and might crack if you tried to bend it. Perfect! The resin is now formed into a cylinder around the light base. As it cools, it will hold this shape. Now we need to secure it permanently with glue. Next, we take some super glue and some Let's Resin UV resin, and we're going to secure this honeycomb pattern resin creation to the light base. I'm rolling it in the shape of the light base, and I'm going to use a two-step adhesive process for a really strong, permanent bond. First, I'm applying the super glue to the base. I'm putting it right where the resin will attach to the light base. Now I'm rolling the resin around the base a little bit, pressing it into the super glue and holding it for a few seconds. This gives the super glue time to grab and create that initial bond. The super glue works fast and holds it in place, but now I'm going to reinforce it with UV resin for extra strength. I'm applying the Let's Resin UV resin along the seam where the resin meets the base. This creates a strong, permanent bond that won't come apart. Now I'm using my UV light to cure the UV resin. Watch how quickly it hardens under the UV light. Just a few seconds and it's solid. This dual adhesive technique, super glue for the quick initial hold and UV resin for the strong permanent bond, ensures this lamp will stay together beautifully. Now I need to trim around where the cord is to make sure that our resin creation stays flat and doesn't have any bumps or lifted areas around the cord. I'm carefully trimming the resin around the cord opening, making sure it lays flat against the base. You want a clean, professional finish with no gaps or lifted edges. Perfect! The resin is now securely attached to the light base. It's not going anywhere. The honeycomb pattern looks gorgeous wrapped around the cylinder, and it's ready for embellishments. Now, before I put on the embellishment around the bottom, I need to secure the opening in the back with some O-rings just to keep it closed and maintain that circular enclosure. I'm using my heat gun again to make sure I can form it into a perfect circle. The heat makes the resin flexible so I can shape the back opening and get it nice and round. I'm placing these O-rings around the back seam to hold it closed. This keeps the cylinder shape perfect and prevents any gaps or openings in the back. Perfect! The back is now secured and the lamp has a nice, clean circular shape all the way around. Now it's time to add the beautiful embellishment around the bottom. Look at this gorgeous sparkly rhinestone trim. This is going to make the lamp look so elegant and finished. I'm going to apply this embellishment around the bottom edge using super glue and again some Let's Resin UV resin for that strong permanent bond. First, I'm applying super glue along the bottom edge of the lamp where the embellishment will go. Now I'm carefully placing this sparkly trim around the bottom, pressing it into the super glue. I'm working my way around the entire circumference, making sure it's straight and even. The super glue is holding it in place, and now I'm reinforcing it with Let's Resin UV resin. I'm applying the UV resin along the edge where the embellishment meets the lamp, and now I'm using my UV light to cure the UV resin. Just a few seconds under the UV light and it's permanently secured. Look at how beautiful that sparkly trim looks around the bottom. It adds such an elegant finished touch to the lamp. The rhinestones catch the light beautifully, and they'll look even more amazing when the lamp is glowing. The embellishment is now permanently attached and not going anywhere. Our glow-in-the-dark lamp is almost complete. Now, the base is secure with our trim, and you want to put it under the UV light for a full 5 minutes just to make sure everything is secured. Don't rush this step. That full 5 minutes ensures the UV resin is completely cured and the embellishment is permanently bonded. I'm letting it cure under the UV light for the full 5 minutes. This gives you that professional, permanent bond that won't come apart. Perfect! The embellishment is now permanently attached and not going anywhere. Our glow-in-the-dark lamp is complete and ready for the big reveal. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really enjoyed showing you how to make this gorgeous glow-in-the-dark resin lamp using just a silicone mat and a light base. I hope this inspires you to try this technique yourself. Remember, you can customize it with any colors you want, cut it to different heights, create waves or points, and use the leftover resin for jewelry, coasters, or other projects. The possibilities are endless. You could make night lights for kids' bedrooms, ambient lighting for your home, jewelry holders, or beautiful gifts for friends and family. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow crafters, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future projects. I post new videos every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 8 a.m. So mark those calendars. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video right here on the same crafty channel at the same crafty time. Happy crafting, and keep glowing!